Jefferson County Court Law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session. The cause number M328988. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Jennifer Lupe Salazar. Ms. Salazar, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Salazar, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Salazar, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Salazar, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Ms. Salazar? You doing fine? That's good. Now, Ms. Salazar, I have a document here that's titled Joint Request for Plea and or Sentencing by Video Conference under the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 27.18. This document was filed by your attorney, Mr. Langston Adams. You recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, before you sign and initial this document, before you sign this document, did your attorney go over this document with you?
Yes.
Did you read and understand everything in this document?
Yes.
Is everything in this document true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
And Mr. Adams, who's appearing by Zoom, Mr. Adams, do you waive a record in Mr. Salazar's case?
Yes, I do.
In Salazar's case? Okay. Ms. Salazar, I have before me a motion to revoke your probation that was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this motion, it alleges that you, Jennifer Lupe Salazar, on August 5th of 2021, that you were found guilty for the Class A misdemeanor offense of possession of controlled substance, penalty group 2A. Your punishment was assessed at 90 days confinement in the Jefferson County Jail and a fine of $500. The confinement was probated for a period of 6 months. The state has filed this motion alleging that you violated your probation. In this motion, there are 3 allegations. The first allegation alleges that you, Jennifer Lupe Salazar, failed to report to the Jefferson County Probation Office as ordered by the court for the months of August, September, October 2021, as directed in violation of condition 4 of your probation order. Is that true or not true?
Yes.
Is it true?
Mhm.
You'd have to say true or not true.
True.
True? The next allegation number 2, alleges that you, Jennifer Lupe Salazar, failed to pay court-assessed fees as ordered by the court. As of November 1st of 2021, you was $370 in arrears in violation of condition 8 of your probation order. Is that true or not true?
Not true.
That's not true?
I didn't have income.
State's fine with.
Okay, so
using that one.
you're gonna abandon that one?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And allegation number 3 alleges that you, Jennifer Lupe Salazar, failed to perform community service hours required as ordered by the court in violation of condition 14 of your probation order. Is that true or not true?
Not true.
Not true. So you perform community service?
No, sir, I didn't know. I didn't know.
Ms. Salazar, you said that's true. We said that's true. You did not do the community service. You pleading true.
And so you prefer, so you,
Yes, it's true.
true. So Ms. Salazar, are you pleading true to allegations 1 and 3
Yes, sir.
freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading true because they are true?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Salazar, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Do you recognize, it is also labeled as State's Exhibit number 1. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of this same document, there are a set of initials on a line next to a box that's checked MTRP. Now, on this document, it is true to allegations 1, 2, and 3. However, the state is abandoning allegation number 2. Okay, so I'm going to erase allegation number 2. Uh-oh, I gotta scratch through it. Now, are these your initials on this line?
Yes, Your Honor.
On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes,
And on the next document that's titled trial court certification, defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document?
yes,
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
yes, sir.
At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes that's checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
Now, Ms. Salazar, before you signed and initialed all of these documents that I just showed you, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Salazar, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Adams, you have any objections?
No objections, none.
Okay, no objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Adams, you advised in counsel, Ms. Salazar, is there any evidence that she is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, no evidence.
And Ms. Salazar, your attorney, Mr. Adams, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Salazar, I will accept your plea of truth allegations number 1 and 3. I will also find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And I will also find that the evidence is sufficient to revoke your probation, and your probation is hereby revoked. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
The agreement is to plead to the state's offer of 5 days jail with 9 days credit.
5 days jail, 9 days credit. Okay, Ms. Salazar, the state is offering that you serve 5 days in Jefferson County Jail. You have 9 days credit. And the court costs in this case will be taxed and retired, which means that you would not be required to pay the court costs because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. And so, Ms. Salazar, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Salazar, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Now, Ms. Salazar, you're gonna stand in front of our court clerk and follow her directions. If you do not have anything else holding you in jail, you should be getting out of jail today. Once you finish following her directions, you can follow the bailiff and you have a blessed day. All right, Aaron Taylor or Aaron Trailer?
Sorry, I'm still sending up the last.
Huh?
I'm still sending the last one over on Trevor.
What's he at? 50? Let's place E plus A and A. Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session in 3 cases. All 3 cases are styled the state of Texas versus Aaron D. Trailer or AKA or Aaron Dominique Trailer.
Yes, sir.
Was that your name?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Trailer, this is cause number 23CCCR 1054, cause number 23CCCR 1004, and cause number 23CCCR 1011. All 3 cases style Aaron Trailer, Aaron D. Trailer, or Aaron Dominique Trailer. Mr. Trailer, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Trailer, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Trailer, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Trailer?
Good, you?
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Hewitt, do you have that waiver?
I don't believe I did, Mr. Trailer. Oh. This is that, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Trailer, I have before me a document that is titled Joint Request for Plea and or Sentencing by Video Conference on the Article 27.18 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. This document is filed by your attorney. Oh, the state had the same. And Mr. Trailer, you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Before you signed and initial this document, did your attorney, Mr. Adams, go over this document with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in this document? And is everything in this document true and correct? That's your now. Okay. Now, Mr. Adams, do you waive a record in Mr. Trailer's cases?
Yeah, all three of them. We can handle them one time, yes.
Okay. Now, Mr. Trailer, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment in cause number 23 CCCR 1054. And in this document, Mr. Trailer, do you recognize this document? On page 2 of this same document, there are a set of initials on a line that's titled Nola Contingere. Recognize this? Are these your initials on this document? On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, that's titled Trial Court Certification, the Defendant's Right of Appeal, you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature
Yes,
on the line that's titled Defendant?
yes, sir.
Now, at the top of this document, there's one box that's checked that says this is not a plea bargaining case and you have a right of appeal. Do you understand that statement? Also, do we have discoveries? I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. You recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Trailer, before you sign and initial these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents? Let me see, this is number 54. Okay, now, Mr. Trailer, I also have before me a document that is titled Information. This information alleges that on or about June 15 of 2023, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of criminal trespass to habitation. You understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Trailer, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
You pleading,
No, you played no contest. We talked about that last night.
No, no contest.
you pleading no contest? Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, as I mentioned earlier, prior to signing and initial all of these documents that I just showed you, did your attorney go over these documents with you? And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Trailer, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
Okay. State, I have before me States Exhibit 1. State, you like to offer States 1?
Yes, sir.
Any objections, Mr. Adams?
No objections.
No objection, States Exhibit 1 will be admitted. Mr. Adams, you advise in counsel, Mr. Trailer, is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None.
Mr. Trailer, your attorney, Mr. Adams, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Trailer, I would accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, before we get to the punishment phase, we're going to go to your next case. And Mr. Adams, you are waiving records in these cases, is that correct?
All three.
Okay. This is. Your next case, Mr. Trailer, is cause number 23CCCR 1004. And Mr. Trailer, in this case, I have before me an information that was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. And in this information, Mr. Trailer, it alleges that you, Aaron Trailer, on or about March 2nd of 2023, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of unlawfully carrying a weapon. Mr. Trailer, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to discharge Mr. Trailer, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. Trailer, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments, State's Exhibit Number 1. You recognize this document? On page 2 of the same document, there's a set of initials on a line just next to box of stricken over contingent. Did you place your initials on this document? On page 3 of this document, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this document, there's one box that's checked saying that this is not a plea bargain case and the defendant has the right to appeal. Do you understand that state?
Yes,
Okay. Now, Mr. Trailer, I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Recognize this document?
yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? Now, before you sign and initial these documents, did your attorney, Mr. Adams, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything that Mr. Adams went over with you?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Now, state, I have before me State's Exhibit 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections, Mr. Adams?
No objections.
No objection. State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted. And Mr. Adams, you've advised in counsel, Mr. Trailer, is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None.
And Mr. Trailer, your attorney, Mr. Adams has advised the counsel in this case. Are you satisfied with his representation in this case?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided fully effective and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Adams, Mr. Trailer, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers was freely and voluntarily given. And we'll also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, Mr. Trailer, before we go to the punishment in this case, we're going to move to your next case.
Yes, sir.
And your next case is cause number 23CCCR 1011. And Mr. Trailer, in this case, I have before me an information And this information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. And in this information, Mr. Trailer, it alleges that you, Aaron Trailer, on or about March 2nd of 2023, while you're in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of possession of marijuana. Mr. Trailer, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Trailer, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Now, you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight against the charges? And Mr. Trailer, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment, is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. You recognize this document? On page 2 of this same document, there are a set of initials on the line next to the box that's checked. No contingent. Did you place your initials on this document? On page 3 of this same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document that's titled Trial Court Certification, Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? At the top of this document, there's one box that's checked that states that this is not a plea bargain case and you have a right to appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Mhm.
Now, Mr. Trailer, I also have before me the documents titled Discovery Certification. You recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? Now, before you sign and initial all of these documents, did your attorney, Mr. Adams, go over these documents? And did you read and understand everything in these documents? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Trailer, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And I also find that you're paying waivers for freely and voluntarily given. Now, State, what is your recommendations for punishment in each one of these cases?
My recommendation for punishment in these cases is 30 days jail during concurrent on all cases.
30 days jail?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And defense, what is your recommendation? Mr. Adams? Mr. Adams, what is your recommendation for punishment? Mr.
Hey,
Adams,
can y'all hear me?
well, you're breaking up right now.
I'm sorry.
What is your
Yeah,
recommendation?
can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. What is your recommendation?
Okay, no reason to keep him in jail longer. He's a juvenile, 17 years old. Let him go back to school, put him on deferred adjudication. It's no reason to do a PSI because he, like I say, he shouldn't have no criminal history, just 17 years old. And I would say do 9 months deferred, all 3 cases run together. And then after you do that, low fine, all 3 concurrent. And that's all I got to say.
Okay, let me do this here. What is, do we know do we know his criminal history? Let me do this. I'm gonna go off of YouTube on this one outside the public. Now, Mr. Adams, do you have any objections to the court? Now, first of all, pursuant to Article 1.24 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, all trials and proceedings shall be held public. However, pursuant to the case of Lilly versus State 365 Southwest 3rd.
No, I don't have any objections.
Okay, you have no objection to this hearing being closed to the public. The court finds that the party who's seeking the closure of this hearing have advanced an overriding interest that may be prejudice to the defendant in that it will disclose non-public information. The court also finds that this interest is no broader than necessary the request is no broader than necessary to protect those interests. The court has considered other reasonable alternatives, and the court finds that these findings are adequate for the closing of this hearing. So at this time, this portion of the hearing will be closed to the public.